Hey, it's Astraeus, and today I want to do a little story time. And this story that I want to talk about was the time a cryptid chased me and my friends on my college campus. So this was junior year, and it was in October, so we had a long weekend holiday break, so most of the campus was completely cleared out. The building I was in, there were maybe 2 people left in it. And the building adjacent to me, there were a couple people, one of them being one of my good friends that came over the night this happened, and then a couple people more on campus in the apartments, but really it was just an empty campus. The night in question was the Sunday of the long weekend, and I had a bunch of my friends over to just hang out and play games and that kind of thing. And I lived in an apartment on the first floor of a dorm. Sometime in the night we were playing games and one of them came up to be a dare from one of my friends, the one that actually lived adjacent to me, the building adjacent to me. And the dare, for legal reasons, is a joke. But basically we dared him to go into the basement of the building I was in and go into this like crawl space area that was underneath the entire building, just for funsies. So this will actually might tie in later on, so it's important. So, you know, we go in there, it's really creepy, it's all dark, it basically says don't enter or whatever. So we go in there, and then he goes into the crawl space, and then comes back out, and we go back to just hanging out and partying, whatever. A couple people, you know, say goodnight and go home, and then around 3 a.m. there's like 5 of us left, and so I decided to just kick everyone out of my apartment. I'm ready to go to bed, I'm tired, you know. So my friend that lives in the building adjacent goes to his room, and then the 3 other friends that were still over, they decide to walk across campus together, which is like, you know, a mile across campus or something even shorter than that, enough that it's fine to walk to. But it's dark and it's nighttime, so they go together, and I get ready for bed, and I get into bed, and then but right as I'm about to go to sleep, my phone starts going off like crazy and buzzing, and getting texts from my friends that had walked across campus, and one of my friends actually ended up calling me and telling me what had happened. So essentially, they were walking back, and they had almost gotten back to the apartments, and they noticed that there was somebody following them, and the best way to describe it was they were like peeping out behind cars and then ducking back behind them and then following them as they went, and the person followed them across the street and then across the street again until they got to their apartment. They brought the friend that didn't actually live with them up into the apartment because they were so freaked out, and at the time that they had called me, the person that had been following them was pacing back and forth in front of the stairs to their apartment building. They were really freaked out, and I started to get really freaked out just hearing them talk about it and how scared they were, and so the only solution I could come up with was, hey, I have a really big truck, why don't I come pick y'all up and we can go to some diner off campus? And they were like, please, yes, just get us off campus. We already called the campus police, hopefully, you know, he'll be scared off by the time you get here and we can just get out of here and calm down. So I text my friend who lived in the building adjacent to me because I didn't want to go out into that scariness alone. It was dark, it was 4 a.m. I was creeped out. So I texted him to see if he'd want to come with me. He said yeah, he met me down in the lobby, and so I kind of gave him an update on what had happened to my friends. And, you know, they had given us a description of kind of what the person looked like. They were shirtless and had super long, blonde, stringy hair, had like an emotionless face and khaki shorts. And the weirdest part about this person was that their arms. Their arms were in a T-pose with their wrists bent. So they were kind of like this. I don't know if you can see all of that in the frame, but basically like this, and kind of hunched over, but just expressionless on the face. And they didn't really ever change from that position. That's just how they were the entire time that it was following my friends and pacing outside of the room. So I told my friend all of this stuff, and we're like, all right, let's go. We go out to my truck. It's dark, there's nobody around. We're sitting in my truck, and I realize I don't have my wallet, don't have my license, can't drive without it. So I tell him, oh crap, we have to go back to my room because I have to get my wallet. There is this big truck full of boys that were playing on the lacrosse team at the time that came down the empty parking lot, and we're all in the back of this pickup truck, and they parked pretty far away from us, like next to the other apartment building, but we noticed them there. And so we get out of my truck and we start walking back to my apartment building. And then as we're walking, I notice about a building down from mine that there was a person, shirtless, long stringy hair, and in a T-pose, pacing in front of the building, 2 buildings down from my apartment. And as soon as I notice them, I start smacking my friend on the shoulder. So yeah, I think that's the person. And then as soon as I'm doing that, there's no way that the person could have heard me talking to my friend. I was in a like frantic whisper, and we were 2 buildings away from them. And the person looked up and locked eyes with me and my friend, and we started running to my door, because then the person, who from now on I will call Lurch because that's what we nicknamed them after everything happened. So Lurch looked at us and then started running towards us. So we're running towards my building, they're running at us like this. And at some point while we're running to my building, we hear someone yell, "Hey you!" And we don't know if it was the Lurch or if it could have been maybe the lacrosse boys that we saw in the truck. Not really sure. But so we run and we get around the corner and we swipe our cards and we get into the building. And so the whole front of my apartment building is just glass. So we were able to see what was going on. But we were so scared that we ran into my room, which was like the first room in the first floor, and we locked the door, and then we called our friends. We said, "Hey, this is happening. We're going to call the campus police and tell them this is going on. But it's the person, Lurch, is over here now. It's not anywhere near you," which is like a mile away. So it was really weird that they got across campus that fast, because it was not that long between when they told me, "Hey, it's pacing outside our room," to it being right there in front of me and my friend. So we get up the courage and we realize, okay, well, you know what? If Lurch can get into the building, then maybe it's a student and they need our help. But if they can't, then we're safe in the lobby, and we want to see, if they're still out there. So we go out into the building, into the lobby area of the building, and we look out, and right as we get out there, we see those lacrosse boys from earlier bolting as fast as they can down between the 2 buildings that were in front of mine, and just going just as fast as they can with Lurch right behind him in that same T-pose position with a blank face, just running full speed behind them. They were able to get into the building next to me before Lurch caught up to them. But right as they got into the building, they turned around, Lurch did, and then started walking pretty fast towards our building that we were in the lobby. And like I said, completely glass buildings. There's no way that they didn't see us. So we ran and we went to the elevator, the room right next to the elevator, and pressed ourselves up against the wall because we were terrified that maybe they were gonna get in there. They were chasing lacrosse boys. They were almost caught them. We were scared for our lives. I don't think my heart has ever beat faster than when that happened. So we got on the phone with SUPD. We hear the lacrosse boys, because the building they went into is the one that was adjacent for me. We heard them in the halls yelling and freaking out. So we were like, okay, we need to go talk to them and see what the hell they saw. Because if it's a person, they need help. We called SUPD already. If it's a person, they need help. So we called campus security already, but, maybe they saw something that we didn't see, or maybe they know them or something like that. So we went up there and talked to them, and they were all freaked out just as much as we were. And so we went up and we ended up meeting with the security officer, and they couldn't find them. And eventually we decided, okay, well, we need to go find my friends. So we jump in the car, into my truck, finally with my wallet, and we head over to the other side of campus and we grab my friends and we headed to the 24-hour cafe and drank some hot chocolate, and just we wrote down everything that we could remember so we wouldn't miss any details if we were ever retelling the story like I am today. And that was kind of it for the night. We eventually, that morning, we eventually went back to the campus and slept for a while. And then the next day I went to the security office to see if, they had found the person, if they were okay, what happened. And then when I went to talk to them, they basically told me that the town's police force was also looking for him, and they were chasing them down, and somehow they lost them in the neighborhoods, so they think maybe it was a kid that was on drugs or something. But my friend group, we like to joke that we released Lurch from beneath the building, in the basement of the building I was staying in, and we're the reason it was released upon the world. But in reality, it was probably just a sick person. But that blank expression haunts me till this day. And for weeks after that, months even, I was scared to walk on the campus alone at night, or even in general. Just, it was terrifying to me. I had friends that would have to walk with me to places after that for a while, just so until I got used to being on campus again, because I felt like every time I turned around at night, I would see them. Since then, I haven't heard anything about Lurch. Senior year went by without any sightings, so who knows what it was, or who it was, or if they're okay still. If you know anything about it, please let me know. I would love to hear if anybody from that town knows if, oh yeah, that was my friend just fucking with people because they knew not many people were on campus, or they were on break too and the high schoolers were just bored. But it was weird. A person alone, no expression, just shirtless at night. It was cold. It was a cold night, so still spooks me to this day. Do you have any scary stories like that of your own? I would love to hear about them, or even tell them on this channel. I'm all for scary stories, especially scary true stories. They're really cool to me, especially things that you can't explain like this. If you would like to try to explain it, please go for it in the comments. Subscribe if you want to hear more scary stories or more science stuff. Give this video a like if you want more paranormal and scary things. And thanks for watching.